What is going on, friends? Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, and we have a busy show for you today. Some breaking news in Major League Baseball. The NCAA tournament will be in full swing in just a couple of days, but Bradley University is in the news for different reasons. Some news coming out of the UFC front office, an interesting perspective on the Bears and Raiders trade, and so much more. Here on this episode of Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network, I'm Mike Mercado. Stay tuned.
Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airwaves crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado21Alex. And Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
another day at the office, I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones. Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
And all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support. So while a lot of us were excited for Selection Sunday and all the craziness that will be this week and the rest of March moving forward with March Madness, a story kind of happened here locally, or at least in the state of Illinois, with Bradley University. And it's kind of a story that, it's weird. It's a story that has to do with the media, that has to do with power, that has to do with censorship, that has to do with communication, miscommunication, and kind of this weird blurry line that we're living in right now. So to kind of catch everybody up, I printed out this story from the Journal-Star, which is a local paper for Peoria. And for all you who are not locals here in the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, northwest suburbs, wherever the case may be, Peoria is a hotbed for Illinois basketball. A lot of the state championships are held down there. And obviously, when you think of Illinois basketball, you think of Chicago. But, you know, the whole state in its own is a hotbed for the sport. And we got to Selection Sunday, and people may have heard the name Bradley keep coming up. And what happened was they took the accreditation of a longtime media member for the Journal-Star. They took his credit away, and he was not able to cover the team through the tournament. So just to kind of give you guys a little bit also of who are the people behind this story, if you're not familiar with Bradley University, who are now in the NCAA tournament, their head coach is by Brian Wardo. So if you guys don't know who Wardo is, he actually had a lot of weird allegations and stories, and a lot of people call him an ass, and you can see them in Wisconsin, Green Bay. And he doesn't have the greatest of reputation at the very least. You know, I don't know the man personally. I've never had any encounters with him, but that's the word around town. So you already have that going. And then in today's day and age, again, this isn't a political show, but in today's day and age where everybody's against the media, and you know, I don't necessarily feel targeted just because I feel like I'm one of you. I've never felt like there's a disconnection between me and somebody who doesn't have a microphone. But I do also think, just like athletes, just like celebrities, just like anybody else that has some type of notoriety or they feel like they do, there is a weird miscommunication. So I can understand this weird connection that people have with media. But what this is keeping somebody from doing their job. And the reason is, quote unquote, you don't promote the Bradley brand. So why don't we go ahead and break this story down? This is from, again, the Journal Star, who broke it all down. This happens on Friday. So this is after they win their conference championship. Okay, and a few days before Selection Sunday. The Bradley Twitter account tweeted this out. During the 2018-19 season, the amount of access granted to Peoria Journal-Star reporter Dave Reynolds was reduced. At the time, his access to the Bradley basketball program was limited. We discussed the issues. We led to the policy change with Peoria Star-Journal sports editor Wes Hewitt, and the level of access has remained consistent for the last several weeks. Our focus is on preparing for the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. So then this is what they tweeted Friday night. So a pretty bold, hard to the point, steadfast statement, right, on Twitter. This is Bradley University, which they don't just do it on the Bradley University Twitter handle, they also do it on the basketball Twitter handle. So we continue on. This is actually what happened, though. Journal Star sports editor Wes Hewitt, who met with the Bradley program at its request on January 29th to listen to the grievances about the newspaper's coverage of the team, received an email with media access information for Friday's event, scheduled for 1:45 at the Renaissance. The newspaper, of course, sent a beat reporter. The door was open, our man Reynolds said. I walked in and chatted with the other media guys. Jason Vaneski, BU's assistant director of athletic communications, was there, but didn't say anything to me. Players started to filter out. One of the players I wanted to talk to was Nate Kennel, and I mentioned to Jason, I like to talk to Nate. He said, I want to talk to you for a minute. He pulled me aside and said their policy of me not given extra coverage opportunity was still in place, and I was not allowed to do any interviews. I told him the newspaper received the invitation, he said. That was directed to Hewitt, not to you. I said, he doesn't cover the team. I have for 29 years. He responded by saying, you don't promote Bradley brand, and basically we don't want you here. I said, Jason, that's not my job to promote the Bradley brand. You know that. He said, that's what we decide. I said, who's we? He said, Bradley University. I said, you realize how petty this is, Jason? Reynolds talked with Wardle, who echoed Bradley's stance. He said, I'm always looking for the negative, and he's been having this conversation about it with me. Reynolds said he's had 3 times and nothing has changed. He said something to the effect of, we don't want you around here. It was surreal, I thought. Here was Bradley on the eve of one of the greatest moments in the last 3 decades. They've won the Valley Tournament for the first time since '88. I thought maybe we're going to move past this. I went over there with that intentions. If there was something of substance you can hang your hat on and say, yeah, I took a shot at something, but there was nothing, and anything they described that was close to that. The story continues on, and you can check out the whole article by Dave Emenian and by Vic Vlahos. Hopefully I'm getting credit giving their names right, but go ahead and check out the Journal Star and the full story. But then Bradley would eventually tweet out their own response, and they gave him back his accreditations, and it essentially back to the way it was before. But this whole thing, taking into account what it means, I think this is where it hits me more than anything. Let's take away the idea of how scary it is that you could have censorship as it is, that these coaches feel like they have so much power at their universities. The fact that they go unchecked, and this happens at so many different institutions. What's scary is fans don't understand that reporters aren't fans. Their job is to tell you the story. Now, as an athlete, as a coach, your job is to protect your guys, to protect your job, to protect your brand. Understandable. Absolutely. But it's not other people's job to do that. Now, I'll give you a perfect example right now. I'm a Cub fan outside of radio. I'm a Cub fan inside of radio. But there's a professionalism you have to do. So if they do something bad, or they bring in a player that is questionable, or they let go of a player that's been great in the community, you have to be able to be objective about it. That's the whole game. You would not come here if you just wanted to hear me fanboy out. You would go to the bar. You would just go to the stadium and listen to schlucks talk about it, any things they don't know. And that's fine. If that's your cup of tea, hey, I'm all in for it. Go enjoy yourself. But if you want to have conversation or dialogue or some type of constructive thinking, then this is where it's important. A reporter's job is not to make you feel better about your team. It's to let you know what the story around the team is, good or bad. Here's the thing, though. When things are going good, things are pretty quiet. And you could come up with stories, but you're not worried about what people are, is there drama between teams? Who's sleeping with whose wife? It doesn't care. It doesn't matter. It goes under the radar because you're worried about the winning. You want to hear about the winning. But if you're losing, or if you're kind of a lower tier, or if you're not known as this juggernaut, and you have a big moment, and then you decide to use it like that, that's when it's the part of the story. And looking for negativity, how good has your team been? You haven't won the conference. You haven't been in the tournament. So am I supposed to sit here and give you all the positivity about the Bulls? They suck right now. They know it. I'm never going to say they don't try hard. I'm never going to sit here and say that they are horrible basketball players. They're just not playing well NBA basketball. They're just not winning games. All these things can be true. But this story is frustrating because I'm not going to sit here. Imagine the kids at Duke. I have a source that is very, very reliable in this instance, and the stories that he has told me about covering Duke and Syracuse are unimaginable. The way they get talked to, the way the institute is ran by essentially this warden and a head basketball coach. Now, I'm not going to get into this political idea that maybe it's not that hard to believe of who's in charge in certain positions when they may not be qualified. That's all around, right? Like, that's in all business, all aspects of life. But it's dangerous when they have that much power. And I don't ever want anybody to feel sorry for any of us. It's not an easy job. It's a job that you do out of passion, that you get into for love. And with that in mind, like, you never really do feel like you're working, but you are working. You do have a boss. You do have timetables. You do have time limits. You do have personalities you have to deal with. You do have your own aspirations you have to deal with. And when you're being handcuffed like that because of an opinion, and it's totally different if you are going out there and making false claims on somebody or pulling a Skip Bayless and just doing it for ratings. Yeah, you could get called off for it. Hell, you can have an opinion about anything I write, good or bad. Anything I say on radio, you can have an opinion, good or bad. But you have to respect the idea that it's not coming from a place of maliciousness, or it's not coming out of a place of biasness. The idea may come up as a Cub fan to maybe dig deeper into a story because of my biasness, but I'm not going to do a defamation podcast just burying anybody because I'm a fan. Or praise them. I'm not going to sit here and say you did something right because you did something you were supposed to. I'm not going to tell you, Bradley, great job for giving him back his accreditation. I'm not going to say that because you should have never taken it from him. He should have had access from that team from jump, whatever the regulations may be. But then the pettiness of doing it this way where it's like, okay, you're really going to, who the beat reporter is. You know that if there is this drama that you went out of your way to tell their editor that we're going to have this spot for you. Who do you think they're not? The editor's not going to go down there. When does the editor ever go down to go cover these games? He's an editor for a reason. We have beat reporters for a reason. That's the frustrating thing. So then when you see fans then side with management and these coaches, it's mind-boggling because they're not like you. They're not the equivalent of you at your job. And this doesn't become a big story because, we've seen in major news that big prominent reporters get blocked all the time. And that's even bigger. But if stories like this don't get talked about, don't at least get out to the public, and I let you friends know, like, hey, this is what's going on, this is how it makes us feel, then it does just get buried. And one day I might get censored. One day the UFC may call me and be like, look, we didn't like how you talk to this guy, you're done. Over. An opinion is an opinion. And as long as it's not blasting anybody, defaming anybody, accusing anybody without any facts, then you should be able to have it. Because that's my job to you guys, is to give you the best information, just like these reporters. And it's a shame that Bradley, instead of what Northwestern and Loyola did, where they embraced everybody and they took everybody for this ride, have this black eye. And we might forget about it. Chances are we will forget about this. At least the average fan will. If Bradley goes far in this tournament, if they win a game or two. Not likely of playing Michigan State, but At the very least, the story will go away, but it should have never happened to begin with. We got more here on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado. What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
It's another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airways crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airways. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado21Alex. And Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
So, friends, as we were getting ready to wrap up this episode of Sports from the Couch, a tweet from Jeff Passan, verified Jeff Passan, at Jeff Passan, breaking star center fielder Mike Trout and the Los Angeles Angels are finalizing a record-breaking 12-year contract worth more than $430 million. Sources familiar with the deal tell ESPN. So, I really wanted to hit on this because there has been talks, at least from Bruce Levine, that the Cubs were going to maybe extend Anthony Rizzo. And then obviously we're seeing everything that happened throughout the offseason with Chris Bryant talking about Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, why it took so long. People were wondering about the Cubs moving forward, that they're going to have to start playing some of these players. But now that we know 12 years, $430 million, we know what Manny Machado got with San Diego. We know what Bryce Harper got with Philadelphia, $350, $300. We see $430. Where does Chris Bryant fall into that? That is the question that, as a Cub fan, as a baseball fan, as a watcher of Chicago baseball, can the Cubs get a deal done this season with Chris Bryant? And it makes you wonder that the NBA and the NFL are such sports that with one big offseason move, you could change your team. In baseball, you build foundations, and you do that in all sports, but this idea to be able to wrap up somebody like that and not have to worry about it for the next 7 years, and then you can go all in on other positions. I wonder if this is the opening the front office has waited for Chris Bryant. I wonder what he's worth. You know, I believe 26 years old. Do you give him an 8-year deal? Do you plan for a future where the DH is in both leagues? Is he the one that you want to put your franchise on? I mean, you traded out Eloy Jimenez for Quintana. Do you think Javi is your future? Do you think Schwarber is your future? I mean, I think we all know it's the former Rookie of the Year / MVP. You give him the money. I think you go 8 years, 300. 10 years, 300, whatever the case may be, you make him your franchise, you move forward, you never look back at it. Because when you look later on down the road, after the marquee network is something big, after these TV deals, kind of just keep going, live television when it comes to sports is always going to be gold for these networks because it's live television. You can't record it. You need to watch it live. You need to be part of the conversation. These contracts will look like nothing in 5 years. It's not the same as Albert Pujols. These guys are in their prime getting these contracts. And you want to know the difference between Mike Trout and Bryce Harper and Manny Machado to Chris Bryant? Chris Bryant's helped you win a World Series. I'm very interested to see where the Cubs, if they try to utilize this, if this is a good thing for the Cubs, or if this is a negative thing for the Cubs. Is this a great thing for Chris Bryant? As somebody like Chris Bryant, who we're all about the player gaining as much money as you can, when you see 430 for 12 years, well, I can make that. It will be less money. That won't be the same amount of money if we move on the road. I'm going to bet on myself another year or so. Very interesting, the repercussions of this deal with Mike Trout. And coming off the cusp of with Manny Machado and what we saw with Bryce Harper and Arenado, and these deals are getting done. So I want to know what you guys think. What do you think, first off, of this Mike Trout news from Jeff Passan? What do you think how does this affect the Chicago Cubs and Chris Bryant? We'll be following this story very much here on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network. I'm Mike Mercado.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
It's another day at the office. I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on.
Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airways crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado21Alex. And Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/Mike Mercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.
UFC President Dana White announced Monday that he has agreed to a new 7-year deal. Ari Emanuel and I signed a new 7-year deal too, White said in an interview with reporter Megan Olivi on the UFC YouTube channel. So we're here for 7 years. ESPN is here for 7 years. And the incredible things that we're going to work on, I just can't even tell you how pumped I am for all this stuff. So the UFC, Dana White, ESPN doubling down on everything. And I'll be honest with you, I'm loving the ESPN Plus package that they're doing with the UFC. I love the UFC main card that they have already done. The cards that they're going to give us over the next few months, over the next year, look to be stacked, at least, if everybody stays healthy, everybody makes weight. But what I really am enjoying about this is the culmination of the UFC has arrived. It is mainstream. It is one of the major sports. It might be on the lower tier of it just because of the age. It's still an infant when it comes to the longevity compared to some of these other sports. But definitely just seeing it on ESPN, the way it's covered, the way it hits the bottom line, And this new deal that they're working where the exclusive home of pay-per-views will be ESPN Plus, kind of taking the WWE Network approach to it. And you could kind of just see that it's finally hit that mainstream. And as time will go on, we'll see how many more stars they create. And obviously what Ronda did to help the women's division and how strong the women's division is right now, how personable and how just boisterous these athletes are when it comes to cutting promos and hyping the fights. And then the fights themselves, people are being more educated and it's on so much more often. So it's interesting to see how for a long time, a lot of us were worried kind of seeing it just plateau and the pay-per-view model was just dying. And to see it now be very healthy, and we'll see as time goes on and as the summer goes on and as it goes against football and how devoted ESPN really is with it as it moves on and when it gets the NFL, which we know how much ESPN loves with the NFL. But as it is for this news, solid news for all you UFC fans, especially those are fans of Dana White, signing a new 7-year deal. I got a question for you, friends. If somebody asked you who won the trade between the Oakland Raiders and the Chicago Bears when it came to Khalil Mack going to Chicago and those draft picks going to Oakland, who would you think won that trade? See, a lot of us would say the Chicago Bears, right? You get a Hall of Fame caliber linebacker for the next 7 years and instantly got to the NFL playoffs, correct? And you don't know who you're going to pick with the NFL draft picks yet. They could be anybody. Well, according to the great minds at MIT, and this is why it is very interesting, the Oakland Raiders won that trade. Well, I'll tell you exactly how. The Oakland Raiders won the Transaction of the Year award at the 2019 MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference. This was the trade between All-Pro defensive end / linebacker Khalil Mack to the Bears for 2 first-round picks. The Athletics' Vic Tafur spoke with the SSAC founder and Rockets GM Daryl Morey about the decision to award Oakland. Quote, "Everybody else thought it was a terrible trade, but draft picks are very valuable," Morey said. "Analytics tend to fly in the face of popular convention pretty often. We don't care about what people say." And while the Raiders haven't even drafted the 2 players yet, Morey said, the results of the picks will be assets in this separate analysis down the road. "We look at the process more than the results," Morey said. "Getting first-round picks can be the right thing even if the picks aren't executed well." Everyone did not think it was a terrible trade at the time. I defended the decision at the time, arguing that Khalil Mack, or any defensive player for that matter, was not worth multiple first-round picks and the $23.5 million in average annual salary the Bears gave Mack after the trade. So look it. I think easily you could get upset. You could, show your Bears color, bear down, Chicago Bears. I get it. I love the Bears. I love Khalil Mack. But you have to understand what this is. This is all calculator stuff. This is all stuff that's in the computer, analytics. It makes sense, theoretically. The problem is, it just doesn't make sense. You don't know what those draft picks are. You don't know if Mike Mayock is going to make good decisions when it comes to drafting these players, evaluating these players. You have no idea where Gruden is at right now. Is he a good coach? Who's going to be their starting quarterback after Derek Carr? Is Derek Carr their starting quarterback? They have Antonio Brown out there. I don't think he's somebody that's going to hurt the locker room, but some in the league think he is. So all these questions, all these things in mind, and the calculator doesn't understand that. Computers don't see that. They see numbers. And yes, in the NFL, draft picks matter. First-round draft picks are as good as gold. And so is money. You're seeing that the Bears are being very creative right now, but could you imagine had they had just a couple extra dollars to be able to go get Le'Veon Bell? Think about what having money was available to get Odell Beckham to Cleveland, how big of a move that was. So it's all encompassing. It does make sense. But it's also flying in the face of just what I see on the field. What I see when I watch these organizations kind of run their own clubs. So I'm interested to see, what do you guys think about this? Who do you think won the trade between the Oakland Raiders and the Chicago Bears? Finally, I would like to read you this fax that came in on March 18, 1995. The following statement was released today by Michael Jordan through his personal attorney and business manager, David B. Falk, chairman of Falk Associates Management Enterprise, Inc., fame. Located in Washington, D.C., in response to questions about his future career plans. Quote, "I'm back." That'll do it for us on this episode of Sports from the Couch. Thank you so much for joining us. Leave your comments down below. Be part of the conversation. Follow me all over social media. I'm on Twitter at Mercado2333. Like me on Instagram at Instagram.com/MikeMercado2333. We're on Facebook, so give us a like at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, YouTube.com/MikeMercado2333. Download, like, rate, review, and share every one of our past episodes wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. Check out our interviews ad-free and before anybody else with athletes and celebrities at Patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Play video games with us at twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves. A huge shout out to Munch Art Design for powering us here at the network. And of course, a thank you for supporting us each and every show. Enjoy all the games. We will see you next time here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves. I'm Mike Mercado.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
It's another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing, buddy? Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
Enjoy our shows? Follow the Mercado Airways crew all over social media. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airways. On Instagram, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado2121. Mike is at Mike Mercado2333. And our true crime show is at Murder Mysteries and More. And on Twitter, Nicole is at Typing When Tipsy. Alex is at Mercado21Alex. And Mike is at MMercado2333. You can follow the network at Mercado Airwaves. Follow our pop culture show on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod. Get us on the go by downloading our programs anywhere you get your favorite podcast, like iTunes, SoundCloud, Podbean, Stitcher, and other popular sites. Just search us at Mercado Airwaves. While you're at it, please like, rate, review, and share us with your friends. Visit us on youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. Click the subscribe and like button to get notified every time a new episode or interview is posted. Support Mercado Airwaves by visiting patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, the home of our interviews with athletes and celebrities, which you can get ad-free and early before it's released to the public. Come play video games with us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mercado Airwaves Network. Mercado Airwaves is powered by Munch Art Design. Like them on Facebook at Munch Art Design. Voiceover work on Mercado Airwaves is performed by Josh Fox.